We're coming. We're going.
We're going?
We're coming?
I'm coming.
Oh!
You're going.
Oh, nice. So...
welcome to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. Colin! Oh my god! Oh man. I had my mojo!
I know.
This bitch and his fucking coughing.
My foot itches so much. Can you scratch it
Put
for
it
me?
in your mouth!
Can you scratch it for me?
No!
Can you?
Ah,
Can you scratch it for me? Can you?
Why buy a comic that would cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. It has been about an hour that we've been recording stuff that will not be in the show, and I'm all talked out now. So we're going to record a 2-hour special.
Sure. This
Just
is
kidding.
true.
It's going to be just whenever
Normal.
we are all done talking.
Yes.
My name's Jacob.
Hi.
There's no host to this show. I'm not going to take any titles, but next to me is Spencer.
On his left.
Hello.
And on the other side of the table is Colin.
His left, that's me.
Nope, that's my right.
Oh, I mean his other left.
Colin, you're a little dumb.
I'm a little dumb.
And opposite me is a beautiful collage of foam.
Very sparkly.
What is that?
Acoustic paneling.
1 foot square acoustic paneling?
Technically, they're 11 and a half
Minecraft
inches.
Oh
blocks.
my gosh. My calibrated eye is off a half inch.
I know, right? It's so bad.
Typical. What are we talking about tonight?
So we're gonna start off with what we've been watching in the past week because Colin requested it specifically.
Because
Yes.
for the last hour he's been like, oh my gosh, I can't!
Yes, okay.
Colin,
So,
what have you been watching?
What have you
this
been
week?
watching?
okay, I finished Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Wow!
Okay, so, first off, don't watch it, Jacob, because there's so much, like, what the f*** is going on, like, introspectiveness.
Okay,
like,
but that's what I liked about Observer. Is like, there were so many times that I literally asked that question. What is going on right now?
Okay, so I asked questions like, what the f*** is going on, because I didn't understand. None of it lined up with anything, and I was talking to Silas, because I watched it with him, and he was like, yeah, so, like, the whole thing, no real point. The dude was just
All right,
hella...
that's gonna piss me off.
the dude was just hella depressed, and all of it is an embodiment, like a visual embodiment of like his depression through cycles of like sexual deviancy, like just obviously you know how anime is with like sexual stuff, not like tentacles, but just like those.
I like how he immediately.
Tentacle porn.
I like how he immediately goes, "There aren't tentacles." Like we were gonna ask.
Well, yeah, because that's like usually like, oh, you're talking about that with anime? No, not that deviancy. Just like, yeah, kind of, and it's just like.
I hate that so much. It drives me up a wall.
Okay, so
Not the fun up a wall way. The
but
other.
there's a lot of Christianity like symbolism, not
That's
symbolism where it means anything.
It's anime. It should be Taoism.
It should be,
You're
but
right.
Taoism.
so like the bad guys are angels, right?
What the?
They're called angels. They aren't angels, but they're called angels.
Okay.
Why?
Okay,
So are you gonna
that's how
keep-
Diablo is too.
Are you gonna watch
Fair.
the show? Are you gonna finish it?
I don't know. You've got me like.
Okay, you
Oh,
should
yeah,
really
shit.
watch it, but basically, when I finished the show, the first thing I said, what the f***, this is f***ed. Or like, when I first saw
That's what you
the
say
movie.
when you finish watching a lot
shut
of
up,
things.
shut up. At the end of Evangelion, the movie called The End of Evangelion, the first thing and the last thing I said from watching this movie, the beginning of it, I was like, this is f***ed, first scene. Then the end, I was like, what the f***, this is f***ed. And I was just like, my mind's...
Call it summary right there.
My mind is, well, I don't want to give away anything because everything is given
After
away.
we go like 3 weeks with pretty minimal language, honestly, there was a couple of them here and there.
Oh,
and
I
then
knew
Colin's
this was
just
going to happen.
right off the bat, just beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
No, I warned Jacob, I'm like, there's going to be so many. I'm telling you.
Well, I
Because-
clearly can't drink while editing this episode.
But okay.
There was actually one in the last episode that I tried so hard to fish out, and I was like, frig it, we can let that one slip.
It's not the end of the world.
We're explicit anyway, why not?
Evangelion.
How many times can you say the title while trying to talk about it?
Neon Genesis Evangelion is so f***ed. Because there's so many tonal differences. So it starts out like it's just so much.
Colin,
it's so
I think
much.
you're not gonna get anything other than
No, I can't. Okay. So in the beginning, it feels like it's just like a gun, kids playing with their Gundams. That's what it feels like, right? Because the main characters are 14-year-olds. So starts off with that, and then a couple episodes in, it becomes like psychological thriller. It's like, okay, and then it gets more and more, and it's like Gundams again, and then psychological thriller, and then it's like
But what about
body
psychological
horror.
thriller in a Gundam?
That's
What
it
about
also
sexual
was like.
tension
There's also sexual tension
in
between
an anime?
like the 14-year-old kids,
Yep.
like because there's main guy
This
who
is why
unit.
I'm very hesitant with a lot of anime.
He is
Weirds me
unit
out.
1,
like
or he's the third child.
Robot Godzilla's titties. It's anime right there.
Exactly, but half the time they're children. It's like, what the hell's going on here?
So
Usually high school girls, like 12 or 13-year-olds in really
Yeah.
short skirts.
Yeah, I don't
yes,
get it.
this was middle school.
Ugh.
14-year-old kids.
Why?
Yes. Okay.
Is
Okay.
it-
Okay.
that's not a cultural
gosh.
difference. That's just a people being gross difference.
Also, yes and
Wait,
no.
so
Remember,
this-
this was in
this
the
means
90s
we've
where this
proven-
wasn't taboo in Japan.
We have proven...
it's still gross. It doesn't matter if it's a cultural difference. It's
No, but that's not the point of what I'm trying to talk about. So the tone just changes all throughout the show, and then you get to know more and more about like what's happening. What's the actual like? These people aren't just like helping. It's not NERV. Isn't just like an organization that's helping the Japanese government fight against, or like not just Japanese government, but like all other countries fight against like these things that they call angels. But the angels aren't from God, but they are from man. And it's so cryptid, you just need to watch it. And when you watch it, watch up to episode 24, then the movie, and 25 and 6 don't really matter. 25 and 26 don't really matter because it's kind of like this weird...
acid trip.
Literally. Okay.
when I find the weird little stamp in my dad's sock drawer and lick it. That's what you do with acid stamps.
Oh, I thought you were saying the cum sock.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh gosh,
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking that.
I like it when Jacob says things. He's gonna have to censor himself. Jacob in post, cut this out.
Nope.
Wow.
Is that it for Evangelion?
No, I'm sorry.
Contain yourself. Spit it out. 2 more sentences.
Okay. So,
That's
in the
one.
show, actually in the movie, it's going to be more than 2 sentences.
1 paragraph.
So the movie, imagine giant, color white female absorbing the blood of the earth and humanity
Through what orifice?
through her hands,
Dark.
where there's holes, and then there's so much. My brain is broken from this movie.
I mean, it was already broken before, but
No,
it
but
sounds
I
like it
mean,
made
like-
it worse.
Me and you, we are these guys that are like, I understand the meaning of this movie because I'm a f***ing incel. But like I'm watching this and I'm like, Silas, what's going on? He's like, honestly, I don't know, but I love it. And because he went through all of like as much like through Reddit and Tumblr and all this other place to get information, the dude
You
just
just named 2 ends of the spectrum of Tumblr and Reddit.
Tumblr
Yes.
is just for porn.
No, it's not.
anime porn, duh, Neon Genesis Evangelion. And there's like no meaning, but there is, and he won't tell anyone.
Okay, I think we get the point.
And he
I'm
named
gonna
it-
watch it eventually.
And he named it Evangelion just because it sounded cool. Not because there's any meaning. He's just like, yeah, Evangelion sounds cool. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay,
So,
we get it.
Everyone watch this right now.
Spencer,
It's on Netflix.
your mother, Spencer,
Yes.
watched about 20 years after it came out, The Matrix.
Yeah.
Do you remember her reaction right when he unplugs himself in the first shot of the actual Matrix?
Yes.
What did she say?
I don't know.
You just said yes. Well, right when Neo unplugs himself in his little pod where he was in stasis in
Naked.
the Matrix. Right, naked.
Gooey.
She paused the movie and said, "What the is going on?" And she does not talk like that. And like all of the family members were like, "Whoa, she said that!"
How do you remember my mom saying that like 20 years ago?
Hold on.
No, 20 years after the movie came out.
Which
so it was
is
only,
like this year.
whatever, 15 years then.
Are we just
going to
glaze over the fact that he just like bleeped himself without having to
He
do
does
it out
that
of product?
in real life.
I do.
He just censors
Just
his own
what
words.
the?
It's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
Where are
so
you going
weird.
with
How do you
this?
do that?
By being special.
He is special.
That I had like 4 different times playing Observer, and apparently that is how Colin felt watching Neon Genesis Evangelion.
And there's 3 more movies and a 4th one coming out. It's supposed to come out in 2015, but then it got delayed, and then it was supposed to come out in 2020, but then that got delayed by the pandemic.
It's freaking anime. Telework drawing on your freaking computers at home.
The that I know, okay? The rebuilds, no one knows if they are a reboot or if they are a sequel, because the end of Evangelion makes it so that there's like no coming back. But then the second in like the in the rebuilds, there's references to it being a sequel because of a blood-stained moon in an ocean of red.
Okay, so it sounds like either A, laziness in the sense of trying to connect things or not wanting to connect things, or 2, just making it hard for people to understand for the sake of making it hard for people to understand.
Or 3, they woke up from a bad trip and said, "What have we done?"
Probably that option.
And tried to write it out.
And in the first shot of the first episode, we see one of the main characters, but he's never met... But the dude guy never met this main character yet. Never in his life, but he saw her, and she wasn't actually there. And in the end of the movie, we see this type of character, and it's the same character, but in this like same fashion as that. And that's a reference that she could have altered time.
Okay, so to end this conversation, because Spencer's pulling his very short hair out of his head, I think to call a truce, Spencer and I will catch up on everything out there.
Right
is
now.
Chroma Exodus. I don't have a third word.
It's Chroma Exodus.
What's the thing in the back of your
Demongenion.
throat? The ganglion.
Gang-
Chroma Exodus Ganglion.
I love that.
And when the new movie comes out, we can all watch it in Colin's living room and figure
I
out
will watch this with you guys.
what is going on.
I will set aside time to watch this with you guys.
All right, moving on.
We need to name this episode
Spencer.
what you just said.
Spencer, what have you been watching?
I finished Adventure Time.
Actually, that's a very sad moment.
Dude.
Oh, so we should have a
Ow.
moment of awe.
We should have a moment of silence.
No, I think we should have a moment of awe.
Dude, that hurt. Like, that hurt a lot. Obviously, I didn't watch it for the decade it was on air, but oh my gosh, that hurt like a lot.
Watch it again.
I'm gonna. I really enjoy the fact that the finale was 4 episodes in one. It was just it was just a short. I liked that. Ow. So much ow. I will admit it pulled itself together quite a bit in terms of the elements of like seasons 7 through 9 that I didn't really like. A lot of the plot threads I didn't really see going anywhere or weren't terribly interesting.
So,
It did,
what? You can be
like the
anyone who hasn't seen
the other
show at
Gumball
this
creations,
Me?
I really didn't care about those.
I don't care.
You know, Uncle Gumball. I like the rest
Yeah.
of them. I get by the end of it, I understand the ideas. It just
like the
didn't
idea for
feel like
Brother,
it wasn't set up very early on, or
no.
even like more than 2 episodes ahead of time. Which in a show like this, where either is so by the seat of its pants or extremely meticulously planned, can't really tell, don't really care which one.
It's like both.
It's definitely both. It just some of those elements that were trying to get dramatic payoff didn't feel like they kind of earned it. but other ones really, really did. I remember I was telling you when I finished season 9, I was like, hey, I like Fern. Like, I like Fern a lot. I really like Fern.
Oh, yeah, and I was just like, uh-oh.
I really like what they did with him.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say last week that I was like, I really wish they did more with Fern, either earlier on, like they didn't make him disappear for so long. But with what they did in season 10, I really did enjoy what they did.
How hard did you cry? How hard did you cry?
A good bit.
Because he wanted.
Okay, I will explain. In the finale, I cried 3 separate times. I'm just gonna be specific. 1, I cried when the treehouse got wrecked. That hurt so bad.
I know.
The treehouse got wrecked, and then Jake went really small, and then Bimo was like, "My child, I'm gonna sing." That full moment where they freaking defeated Golb, that was so good.
No, don't talk about it.
That was so good because to Jacob, it sounds really silly, but basically,
I'm getting PTSD
the show
from
is
this.
based in very strange ways around like the power of friendship, not in like friendship, but like overarching life bonds with people. Even when you disagree with them, people go to space, people turn into monsters, like all sorts of weird stuff. So they literally defeat the villain of the series by singing. It sounds really crazy, and at first I was like, oh boy, are they really going to do this? And then they pull it off. They sing like everybody. It's so weird. And it starts because little robot Bimo just decides to sing. It's so weird.
Well, you know why it works? It's because throughout the whole show, they always like sang every now and then. Whether it be like super goofy or something that was meaningful.
Yeah, song has always been super integral to Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that at the end, the song hole just sang the theme song, I was like, oh.
Oh, I just got chills from that. That hurt. That hurt so bad when she did that.
I knew that was coming, but it still was like, oh, my feelings are tickled.
It hurt so bad. All of that hurt so bad. And like, Jake just forever being just like a baby. That just showed that he's forever baby. There's no like change to that. He will not change.
So, cried 1 when the treehouse got wrecked, and then they sang. And then 2 was when Fern died. Like, that was a really good moment. Fern. And then the third one was right at the end when it's like, the cycle continues. There's always another hero going to pull the sword out of the tree. And that hit me right in the feels, even though I didn't honestly like the 2 characters that they had set up.
Oh.
They were unique. It just because you only had that one episode with them, just the finale was like, I get it. They were unique. But they just didn't gather my time. I wouldn't want to watch a show with those 2.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to watch
I would love to watch
an epilogue.
But that was the epilogue.
I know what that was, but I mean, like, if they had like a 10 episode epilogue,
I would watch it. It just doesn't. That just wouldn't be something I would do.
Also, you saw Baby Lich being an adult, right?
That was so cool.
See, yeah, that's like the only cool thing about Baby Lich was that.
Yeah,
and he became like his own adventurer.
Yeah, I like the fact that what they decided to do, like for the future, was they capped the show thousands of years in the future. Mm-hmm. Somehow, Bimo is still alive.
Not surprised.
Still just chilling.
Doesn't know Finn's name.
Can't remember Finn's name correctly. That was funny. Just chilling. I saw a piece of fan art of somebody that like had it was Bimo as King of Ooh, and he just had all of the different treasures and mementos from their adventures over the years just on a wall. I was like,
it's cool that he became
that
King
could
of Ooh.
Pass as like what actually happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bimo can't remember everything correctly, but like he still remembers. He still feels. It's also funny that he's like thousands of years old and still has cute little boy voice. It's really funny.
Well, yeah, because he's a robot. Nothing changes about that. I do like that they added so much of like to that episode where they could actually make spin-offs from. They could from the 1,000 years later.
I'm glad that they decided not to, and they don't seem to.
Sad that they are not.
Part of me, yes, but also part of me really does like it when things end on a high note. I like the fact that what they did was they capped it in the future, and now they're making what is it? 6, 4. Okay, yeah, it's probably 4. 4 or 6. Shorts, which are all like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They're doing those, which are set semi...
What's the next one?
The next one is, I don't remember when. I'm assuming sometime, like, early next year. I think.
What? Because they released the first one, and I thought that was just going to be like, they're going to show them all this year, and then, boom, bye.
I think that was the plan, but pandemic happened.
Yeah, no, but they released it during the pandemic.
Yeah, we talked about this. At San Diego Comic-Con, they released a poster for the second episode, which is Marceline and PD.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway. And then they're doing those set in like a couple of years after the end of the show, like in the quote-unquote past. Mm-hmm. I like that because BMO's going to survive. You know those things.
Oh, yeah.
So it's exploring the time in the past, but it's not pushing it forward. It ends on recreating part of the title sequence, but with new characters. And it's just perpetuating that cycle of hope, even though it's still pretty freaking sad that it kind of does end on a sour note. So I really like that. Just the finale. I didn't realize it was 45 minutes until I finished it. I was just like folding laundry while I was watching it. And I didn't realize it was so bloody long. I was just like, oh, wait, what? It's the end? And I just watched that for 45 minutes without blinking? So that was
it's like the beginning, because that's when he meets Finn and Jake.
Yeah.
Right before.
Oh, that was a very, very good finale. Anyway, the whole season was pretty solid. I think out of all of them, I think it was season 6 and 7 that kind of dipped in terms of quality, at least entertainment value.
Oh?
They weren't as funny. I mentioned it when I went through them. They weren't as funny, and I felt like they were dragging out. Even though season, 5 is the one that's stupidly long. That was totally fine. So, big fan. Cried much.
I thought season 7 was the best one.
It might have been 6. I don't remember. Off the top of my head.
I was not entertained by 5, I think.
Might have been 5. I don't freaking remember. It was the season after the really long one I did not like. So that was probably 6, actually, because I think 5 was the really long season.
Really?
Anyways, doesn't really matter. It hit me in the feels a lot, and that's as somebody who watched the show semi-binging, kind of here and there, over like 6 months. So, big feels. I just really like how it's all like, and it's friendship. It's silly and goofy and childish, but it also is very fitting, thematically speaking, with the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Jacob, what have you been watching this week?
I finished The Boys season 2.
Oh!
Ooh.
Yeah, dude.
How did you enjoy The Boys season 2?
It wasn't bad. It was more of The Boys. I think it was a little less intentionally edgy. No,
it was less edgy.
There was a lot less edge because edge.
Yeah,
it was a little more.
Yeah, season 1 is definitely edge because of edge.
Yeah,
yeah, that's something I've been hearing a little bit.
But there was also some like cringe edge to it. Like they would take very popular.
This new Joss rewrite really sings, huh?
Popular phrases from the news and change like one word
so
to
it
be
feels like
like
that's not going to age well.
You know what's going on here, and it's like, just shut up. Yeah, it's not going to age
Like Dawn
well
of the
at all.
Seven.
Would you just come on?
I think it was
just come on.
It was like the
come on. Will you come on?
Please stop. I'm getting uncomfortable.
Sorry, it's Shia LaBeouf.
It was the Make America Kind Again. That I was like, come
Oh,
on. Are
would you
serious?
come on?
That's a bit on the nose.
Yeah. Stupid stuff like that. So
Make America Kind
it's like,
Again.
I don't care which side of the political stance you stand on.
Just don't be cringe, bro.
I don't care.
Just don't be cringe, bro.
Don't be cringe. So, it's good. I want more. And
apparently, the upcoming new character for season 3 is going to be even more psychotic than Homelander. And honestly, I find that impressive. I don't know how the heck they're going to make him even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to make him like so much worse than that.
I guess that was kind of a point in this season, was to show his deterioration at trying to control everything, and nothing is working to his liking. So
wow,
that's kind of the point.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Neato.
There were some.
You watched this weekly as it came out, didn't you?
No,
Oh, I thought you
I
did.
was strongly against the weekly idea.
Why?
I don't know. It just bugged me.
You already have Amazon Prime.
It's a digital thing. I want to sit my fat ass down and.
But then you don't appreciate it.
Watch
I've
the whole
come to
thing.
actually kind of not like the binging model because when you
That's
go...
because you actually binge, though.
I mean, not... Yes.
You
to a
do,
little
like,
bit, but,
the whole season. I
if
do,
you go
like, 2 or 3
in
piecemeal.
retrospect, like, on, like, the Marvel Netflix shows, which is where I started binging,
Yep.
it shows in their format that the binge doesn't work for them. Like, you don't notice the holes in it, in the pacing problems, when you binge them. But when you go back and watch them episode to episode, you're like, oh, this is dragging out way longer than it needs to be. So it shows a lot more.
I mean, I said that, but
I
don't actually binge a show, though. I watch it 2 or 3 episodes, and I'm like, all right, it's bedtime. I got shit I gotta do. So
Sleepy little boy.
Yeah, that's how I have been with shows.
So that's how I took The Boys Season 2. I waited a couple of weeks and watched 2 or 3. So,
Fair enough.
Whatever.
Right.
Colin, what else have you been watching?
I watched Princess Mononoke.
Ooh.
And honestly, when I first started it, I was like, oh, this is so cute. And then the boar demon came out. I was like, and running around. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I expected that. And then, like, once the main character got, like, marked of the demons, whatever, after he killed the demon, he like, had to travel the world or something. Or he was going to find the spirit of... the forest spirit, I think it was called. Yeah, the forest spirit, to try to heal him of his curse. So, like, he was trying to travel around to, like, the other side of the country or whatever. Honestly, some of it wasn't paying attention to, except for this part in particular. This is when I started paying attention to the movie. And it was when he was passing a village and all the people were being massacred, and someone's arms got chopped off. It's like, yoink, and the dude's like, ah, he fell over. I'm like, whoa, okay. And then they're like, stop him, he's a warrior, because they saw him from afar, like these samurais. And he's like, stop, don't fight me, let me pass, I don't want to kill you. And they're like, ah, stupid little bitch. And so he's like, all right. So he take his bow, and he shot an arrow at them, and the dude's head went clean off. It just shriek.
That's a sharp sword.
And it was a fucking arrow.
I don't think that's how arrows work.
No, it's because of the demon mark. Like, his arm went, like, huge for a minute, and then, like, it, like, not pulsated.
Anime glowing arrow.
No.
Shot.
No, not glowing, but it was, like, bubbly, and then went, and then he got the other dude's arm clean off. It's so funny. This is Studio Ghibli, by the way.
Okay. I'm gonna say the thing.
Say the thing.
When the Bible 2 comes out.
Oh, yes.
Next year.
Chroma Exodus Ganglion.
No, I mean the Snyder Cut.
Oh.
When that comes out, I want Colin to reenact all 4 glorious hours exactly how he just did that. I could barely follow with that retard energy. But it was perfect. I want you to do that.
Let our son be happy.
Okay.
I
don't know how to explain it to you because it's just so funny to me. The dude's head just clean off after an arrow. Like, most the arrow's going to do is just go right through him if it's, like, that powerful. But, like, the whole thing got cut. And I'm thinking, okay, how did that get cut? Maybe, like, the airflow. It's something stupid, like, airflow got, like, so thick or dense or whatever, and just went right through, like, anime logic, right? That's not how air works. But anime logic, right? Or, I don't know. It's just so funny to me.
This sounds particularly edgy for Studio Ghibli.
No, it's not edgy at all. It's funny. It's, like, funny how they do it because they're like, ah!
Is it supposed to be funny?
I think it was intentionally funny. Or, like, it kind of like, yeah, that dude just got, like, his head chopped off and then just walked away. It wasn't, like, edgy where they're like, oh my gosh, I just killed this man. But no, it was just like, dead. Okay, I'm on my way. It was so funny how they just glossed over it like it was nothing.
Okay, so moving on from this scene, did you enjoy this production?
I loved this movie.
Sweet.
I thought about it while I was at work.
I will put it on the top of my Studio Ghibli list because I'm watching all of them eventually.
Yes, that's what I'm doing right now. It's very slow.
Nice. So I'll put... No, you're very slow.
I am very slow. I think I'm going to watch... I can't remember which one it is. Oh, it's like Porcus something. So what have you been watching, Spencer?
Wow.
We were supposed to be asking Jacob what he has been watching.
No. Was it your turn?
I don't remember.
Jacob, go.
I started watching the new Netflix special, only made, freaking original, whatever you want to call it, Ratched.
Ratched.
and I would like to specify that it ends with a D, because most people say ratchet, and they kind of just fuzz over the last letter, so it sounds like ratchet, and it's not. It is a ratched.
That's really weird.
Thank you.
So how is it?
It is a prequel series to the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, that's what that is.
What?
Okay, now I'm connecting the dots.
So, I watched the first 2 episodes, not knowing anything about it, found out that it is a prequel series to the movie, and then spent about a solid half hour to 45 minutes on Google trying to figure out which one I should watch first, because I haven't seen either of them, and found literally nothing except all the reviews saying that Ratched is fine. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just whatever. So I stopped after the second episode and went to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'm almost done with it, and then I'm going to go back to Ratched.
I honestly thought One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was really overrated.
Wait, that's literally what it's called?
Yes.
That's actually, you're not like glossing over and just giving it a different name.
No.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
What is this about?
An asylum.
Mental hospital.
And inmates living lives and having to deal with Nurse Ratched because she's a bitch.
Oh, so the show's about her.
I like how
Yes.
Jacob just went into like insane asylum, and I'm like mental hospital. I just find that
I did
funny.
not say insane. I just said asylum.
Whatever.
And
It's
then
funny.
said the mental patients. See,
At least he said patients,
yeah,
not
see?
inmates. I just find it
I
funny.
can be PC sometimes, so suck it.
I have.
Wow.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest came out in 1975. Jack Nicholson was about 18. Not that much, but he does look
First time I've actually
super
seen him
young.
not look ancient.
Yeah. And then you go and watch The Departed, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's Emperor Palpatine. Only way cooler.
That's fair. I do love me some Ian McDiarmid.
And that's the end of that point. Colin, have you watched anything else?
Nope.
Spencer, have you watched anything else?
I did.
Whoa!
I watched it today. So I watched I watched Enola Holmes, which is the Netflix exclusive reinterpretation of Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes canon.
You only watched it because it had Henry Babyface Cavill in it.
No.
Yes!
I really like Sherlock Holmes. Shut up.
No, he really likes Henry.
Shut up.
He likes Henry Cavill's booty.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Anyway.
Okay.
it's true.
He wasn't even in it that much. My goodness. I actually.
He wasn't even bent over.
Oh my gosh, Jacob! Shut up. So it's a more family-friendly take on part of the lore. It's definitely aimed primarily at like younger teenage girls. That's certainly the demographic. It's like 12 to 15. So it's going over their Sherlock and Mycroft's younger sister Enola, who in this interpretation was raised by their mother, and it was just the two of them. The two brothers just kind of left after their dad died. It's a very different interpretation. I enjoyed the weird twist that they added onto it. It was very different. The fact that the company that made it got sued by the Conan Doyle estate because their version of Sherlock like has emotions. Like that's literally what they got sued over, because this version of Sherlock Holmes emotes. Yeah, seriously, that's what the lawsuit was about, was because this one it's so inaccurate because he has real human feelings. It's crazy. So it's definitely different. I really enjoyed so basically Mycroft is the straight man in terms of like a comedy scenario. He is the not terribly bright. He's the regressive one in terms of timely politics. He's the nah, you gotta go to boarding school, young lady, blah blah blah. And then Sherlock is slightly lofty and kind of out there and doing his own stuff, and he's already been doing mysteries and stuff. And then this movie is kind of, obviously he's not the protagonist, but his arc is kind of about having emotions in that sense, and encouraging his younger sister to do what she wants to do and be autonomous instead of going to boarding school and getting the snot beaten out of her and being turned into, housewife crap like all that sort of junk that happened at the time. Obviously taken from the perspective of a 16-year-old girl, so it's comedic while also pretty depressing. I didn't enjoy the fourth wall breaking. Enola Holmes breaks the fourth wall the whole time. It's mostly narrated. I get it. It pulled me in for a while, and then it just kind of got annoying. I would have just preferred to watch it play out a little bit.
One, you don't like narration. Two, you don't like fourth wall breaking narration.
Depends, but it was just like literally.
I'm gonna stop there.
I don't want to say it was trying to rip off Deadpool, because it definitely wasn't, but it was in that sort of, the scene stops for half a second, and then she turns to the camera and continues her speech, but talking to the audience.
It was like Bueller's Day Off.
Kind of. Yeah, not like him.
Is that the right name? I
Ferris
love that.
Bueller's Day Off. Kind of like that. Yeah, like he's talking to you, and he's giving you narration, but then
I can't remember the name.
But then he can live entirely in the dimension of the world. It's very peculiar. So I thought that was a little bit too much. I didn't mind the fact that it was being used for like information and all that sort of stuff. It was just kind of annoying after a while. I thought Millie Bobby Brown's performance was really, really entertaining. Just really solid stuff.
She's usually pretty good.
Yeah, she's pretty freaking solid. She's actually kind of funny, which I didn't expect, because Eleven in Stranger Things is not like terribly funny. Like occasionally can be funny, but this is actually a pretty funny character.
Her in interviews and such, she's pretty funny. You know, just a typical teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, so the subject matter is somewhat already tread, to be honest, but I thought it was still interesting and entertaining. It's like, hey, this is the industrial age. Yes, this is about sexism. It's just pretty clear. The marketing was way more like actually watching. It's like, hey, this is just.
I think he said something about SpongeBob.
Yeah, wait, what does that? That was the marketing? No wonder it did so poorly.
Okay, so you know when something is vaguely progressive in any sense, or just acknowledges historical political issues. Like, this is a period piece, and it acknowledges sexism at the time. Oh my gosh. You know that entire group of people online and in real life that just lose their shit whenever that happens, and they just call it like woke garbage because it literally says the word sexism? You know, those sorts of people?
Yep.
They just destroyed all of the trailers, which the marketing did seem to lean a little bit further that way. It was a little bit annoying. But watching the movie, I was like, this is more about just like personal autonomy. Obviously, it's relevant. Like the twist that they add in there, I can't really get into, but I did think those were pretty well done. But it's like, there is a spectrum of how to go about these things. You have people that are looking, it's set specifically around like women's suffrage at the time. So it's got a lot of people in various parts of the spectrum on how do we accomplish this. Or other people like, we don't need more uneducated voters. That's Mycroft.
And where on that spectrum are you?
I'm on the spectrum. I already know that, Jacob. Anyway, I thought it was entertaining. Visually speaking, it was pretty solid. They had some unique camera work here and there. The costumes were all pretty solid. Good color grading and lighting. I really like how she doesn't feel like, she's Sherlock Holmes, but a girl and younger. It's like
that's how I felt through trailers, is that's what
it's a lot less like that. She has similar traits, but
of course, she's the sibling.
Right. They have similar personalities, but she's way more, I want to say resourceful in a way. There's more grit, kind of, in that sense. She's entirely naive to how the world works because she's been raised in a bubble, but she was given a home education by her mother. She's freaking learned how to do jujitsu, which didn't exist yet, which is funny, but nobody gives a crap. But it's Sherlock Holmes. Nobody's looking for historical accuracy.
So this whole movie is about how homeschooling is bad for your kids.
No, it's about how homeschooling is awesome for your kids.
Oh!
Because Mycroft is the regressive sexist asshole, and then Sherlock is like, wait a sec, I think this girl's got a point, basically. To narrow it down to a really weird way to say it. Anyway, I thought it was entertaining. It felt a little long, but it also felt like they could have stretched it out. I've said that about a lot of things lately. It's like, this could have been made into like a 6-episode miniseries, but also was just over 2 hours. I don't know. I liked it. Would recommend. Entertaining.
He said it felt a little long, but it could be stretched out.
Like my poop this morning.
Okay. Has anybody been watching anything else?
Nope, you won.
No.
I have another one.
No!
I only have 3. You guys...
That's okay.
And then went back around.
That's okay. I talked about Neon Genesis Evangelion for a very long time.
You did.
So you talked about watercolor, Deuteronomy, Dandelion.
Watercolor, Deuteronomy, Dandelion.
So I watched Constantine.
The
2005 movie.
Keanu Reeves.
Dude.
No, it's still good. I thought you were talking about the show, which is 1,000 years better.
I actually disagree. It's an argument for another day.
Have you read the comics?
Yeah.
What
Colin.
show?
Jeez.
Doesn't really matter,
I've
actually.
seen the movie. What show?
Have you read the comics? Shut up, gatekeeper. That's my job.
I'm going to gatekeep Constantine all I want.
Dude, you haven't read past like the second omnibus.
Because
the art style sucks.
It does suck. I'm not going to read it. If the art style sucks, it's hard for this... Whatever.
Dude, the New 52 and Rebirth stuff is really good.
I know.
Okay.
I've read it.
It's great. Anyway, so
I enjoyed him in Batman Damned.
Fair. Really did like that. Okay, so the pivotal decision to change the characterization of the titular character from the sarcastic and self-medicating kind of douche, but like he's definitely still a hero, to an introspective and deadpan person, simultaneously elevates the film above a lot of the other comic-based movies at the time, which was in 2005.
Yeah, for its time, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, so it in that sense was leagues ahead because it's like, hey, we're going to do an actual different interpretation. But because that was not how you did it at the time, because people weren't aware of how these characters operated, especially something not like Constantine. Hellblazer is not super in the mainstream.
No,
Not
it still
underground, but like...
It still really isn't mainstream.
No, it's just the way the themes and topics that they go over just aren't. That's how it is. But
he's too much of like human, I think, for people to like want to read.
I'm pretty sure it mostly has to do with the occult. I'm pretty sure the human aspects are not what freak people out.
No, I'm not saying freak people out. I'm just saying like I feel like maybe he's a less interesting character to people because he's more human, and then we have these other comic book characters who are like the fantasy of what we want to be, at least for most people.
In a sense. But I think that whole... Keanu Reeves is great, but this was a recast thing that gets passed around the internet a lot. I think is dead wrong.
A recast?
Sorry, miscast. People are like, the movie could have been cool, but they just did Keanu Reeves, and that's weird, and I don't like it. I think that I understand why.
I thought he did really well.
I think it was freaking brilliant.
I wish he had blonde hair, but also like Keanu Reeves with his
Keanu Reeves
natural
with
hair.
Blonde hair was
amazing.
weird. That's what I mean. Is like the whole this movie you could have done very much so with a quote unquote traditional John Constantine. I think it would have been lessened by doing that. The way the movie was made as a whole, how it was written and formatted, and the pace. It's a pretty slow movie.
It was.
Would have been really weird with a sarcastic and witty lead. I think a more introspective and quiet man, a way better idea.
Yeah, it was very different.
So in that
type
sense,
of
it was
character.
really ahead of the ball because it's like we're going to reinterpret this character, but it in that sense doesn't hit the goalpost because other people don't know what the regular interpretation would look like.
I don't know. I still feel like
Sports
that's
analogies.
I still feel like that's weird because it's just it's like that Constantine isn't how Constantine is.
No, but who gives a flying shit?
I mean, I kind of do. It doesn't mean that it makes it less.
It's an adaptation.
Yes, but listen, it doesn't make it like less entertaining, and it doesn't make me like hate it. It's just it's not Constantine, which is fine, but it's not Constantine.
I still think it's fundamentally Constantine. I think a personality change and a shift in tone a bit doesn't really change that. I still think most of the
it's a
core parts of
Constantine
this
story, but it's not Constantine, the character.
See, that's, again, we have, like most comic book characters, obviously, Batman being the most easily molded one of them all, arguably.
You can change him so often.
Right, but most comic book characters are like that. Whether or not it's how long they've been around, like, because Constantine has been around for like 40 years.
Maybe I feel this way about Constantine is because there's only two interpretations.
Right.
And like the show doesn't count as a third because that's basically that's perfect like one-on-one comic of it. Okay.
Ish.
Have you read the first one? Have you read the original six? It's like pretty much the same.
I would say
it is very
I would
close.
say the actor in the role is, but the rest of it is not.
Like
the show. I think the character, yes, but the show, no.
Well, yeah, because it's written for different times.
Yeah, it's written as a CW show.
but it's a good CW show.
Oh, yes, it is easily the best in that universe by a long stretch.
Yes.
Anyway.
So maybe I feel that way about Constantine because we don't have enough at different like versions of it.
Yes, and that I can understand. It's just a matter of I used to care about those things, and I don't anymore. So me now having the 15 years later context is like, this is cool. I really like this.
I always liked the movie.
Especially when things are like, I won't want to say underrated or misunderstood at the time. It's like going back with a different context is always really interesting for that. I was very impressed with how well the visual and special effects hold up, like a lot.
Yeah, they did pretty
Some
well.
of the demons themselves, like in hell, look kind of crap.
Yeah.
But the rest of them were really cool. The practical effects were
I liked
phenomenal.
Lucifer. I loved the idea of like his feet being like black and like soiled.
I liked that. I didn't like the fact that this version of Lucifer was just like a fat, greedy man. That was weird. I understand it, but it was weird.
I just liked the idea of everything about him is clean except for his feet. I never tried to understand that. I just like, that works. That seems like Lucifer to me.
Yeah, there was all that sort of stuff.
I don't know what it's supposed to mean, or if it's supposed to mean anything at all.
I liked how well they interpreted half breeds. I really like that. I like the general visual style of the movie. It does feel a little bit mid 2000s,
yes,
but not excessively.
It felt weird that Gabriel was bad though.
But Gabriel wasn't bad. That's the thing. Is Gabriel was just insane. Gabriel was still trying to accomplish the goal of redeeming mankind. It was just in an entirely backhanded, weird way. And then this is the whole thing of, oh my word, the freaking Hellblazer material twists so many different things in such weird ways. So me trying to look at it from a spiritual angle is like, oh my word. It's obviously all intentionally done differently, but it's like, oh my gosh, is this what people think we look like?
Yeah, usually when stuff
if
like
so, oh my word.
Usually when stuff happens like that, I usually am okay with it, but like with this one, I don't know. Maybe because it was live action that it felt weird. Because all the other times was like reading books or reading comic books, like Hellboy.
There it is.
There we go. How far into that were we?
Not enough.
There's a lot. Who touched my foot?
Sorry.
There's a lot I have to cut from the beginning, but we are at about 60 minutes.
Which means it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a masterpiece, but I think it is a bit misunderstood by the mainstream as well as by nerds.
Yeah.
It definitely was ahead of its time. The post-credit scene was weird. The scene itself was nice as an epilogue, but the fact that it had a post-credit scene was really weird, especially because those weren't really a thing at that point. This is 2005, so this is before the MCU made it bigger. Other movies had done it, but not very frequently, so that was just kind of weird.
Also, thank you, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for after credits scene.
That's really what started it. Yep. So I really enjoyed that.
Cool.
Colin, what have you been reading?
Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
But I did finish the BPRD, and it was good, but you don't have to read it to like understand anything about Hellboy, or even like it doesn't really add anything to Hellboy, but it just adds things to the world of Hellboy.
Does it add things to the BPRD series?
I wouldn't know because I haven't read any of the BPRD series because I was going to start with this one.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you on that.
So it's Plague of Frogs next, right?
I think so. I'm more of Hellboy enthusiast than I am Hellboy world, but soon enough I will be.
He just really wants the right-handed Doom up his ass.
It is up my ass, okay? Correction.
Jacob, what have you been reading this week?
I get 2 points right off the bat because I read Tokyo Ghost 1 and 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw you reading it.
Mm-hmm. So, Colin had a really fair point last week when he said that he felt safe going into the book and wasn't expecting how harsh it was going to be. So because he said that, I went into the book knowing it was going to be edgy. And holy crap, it was edgier than I expected.
Wow.
It is...
I was probably softening it up.
It's a rough read. It's a very mature read. There's
a
lot of dicks in this book. Holy crap.
There was a lot of dicks.
So
I did not...
I will be taking those books next, I'm assuming.
Because you like dicks?
Yes.
No comment.
It's not a no.
Way too many dicks entering my eyeballs this week. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know. It made me uncomfortable.
Beyond the nudity, I really liked this book. These books. It appealed to my boomerness.
What is that even supposed to mean?
It was like, as Colin said, the main characters grew up as kids, raising a garden in a technology-ravaged world where everybody's plugged in and can't even take care of themselves properly because they have to watch their shows and be stimulated with their screens.
Yep.
And
constant stimulation.
yeah. So, it was, damn kids always on their phones these days. Ramped up to 1,000.
Gotcha.
Ramped up to like actually being real, because I kind of get a little uncomfortable of the fact of technology sometimes, because we have come to this point where we want most people, even I too fall to this, where it's like you want constant stimulation, and whether that be like, physical or mental,
So it's like kind of weird talking about this book and lauding it because technology bad while I'm on a podcast or even enjoying the book that I'm reading, which is saying long pastimes of your life is bad as I'm reading a freaking comic book. It was quite meta in that way. But
Interesting.
I really liked it.
Nice.
It wasn't real strong on the we need to go outside and save all the plants and
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
So is it just the 2 books?
it's just the 2 books.
Nice.
It's a short read.
Honestly, it
Interesting.
kind of bugs me that it was 2 bucks. Though.
Why
2
is it
books,
2?
though.
Why isn't it 3?
They're so small. Stick them in one freaking book.
I know. That's the thing that bothered me.
gonna
I actually
go look
kind of
for
like
it.
when things are like even numbered, because it's not
Depends.
normal. Like
Depends.
Hellboy.
Okay, Hellboy gets away with it.
Yeah, it's still an even number,
It
because
depends.
it's the first one, the second one, the third one, Hellboy in Hell, and then the 2 short stories. Wait,
That's 6.
yeah, it's an even number.
6 is an even number, Jacob.
I know. I was doing
666.
Whoa.
Well, we have officially gotten kicked out of all the Soccer Moms vans.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
because saying all the swear words on the show doesn't get us kicked.
Those are mostly bleeped out.
Mostly.
Mostly-ish, even though you can still tell exactly what we're saying.
Oh yeah.
Just for the sake of not hearing the U.
Not hearing the.
So, I got 2 points. Spencer, your turn.
I only read one thing this week.
Whoa!
And I got one more thing to talk about.
I read the
Damn.
thing that you guys had read recently. I also read Batman Year 100.
Oh.
I like it more than both of you, which is always what happens when both of you guys are like, it's alright. I'm like, I like it. I like it.
And
I,
it's
That's
the
all
same
right.
thing.
I agree with all of your points,
It's
just
the
to a lesser extent.
It's the same thing when you two watch something, you're like, oh my gosh, that feels! And I'm like, I don't get it!
You're not wrong. I agree with all of your criticisms, just to a lesser extent. I get that the art style can be a little distracting because it is so wrinkly and foldy, but also I like it. Sometimes it's a bit much, definitely.
Not to mention the skin looks like dehydrated apples.
That is very true.
Yep,
Sometimes it feels like it fits, and then sometimes it feels a little bit excessive. But also, I really like seeing Batman drawn and written as a freaking demon. It's weird. I like it.
Actually, I do
I
like.
do always like
I
that.
always like the Batman as like a myth, urban legend thing. I always like that. I do like the art style.
An untouchable creature.
Yeah, I like the coloring. As I've mentioned before, I really like the symbiotic relationship between the art and the writing because it's penciled by the artist. I always like those things, even when it's not the same level of quality on both fronts. I just like it.
Do you use the adjective? Is it adjective or adverb? Symbiotic, just because of Venom? Or did you
No.
use it before you were a comic book nerd?
I've been a nerd for way too long.
Okay.
But he hasn't
So-
been an intelligent nerd for too long.
Ouch!
Oh,
Right,
that's
because I was a
decent
child.
nerd.
Yes, me
Like
too.
all of us, we were 6 and just liked Batman because it's Batman.
Okay, so when did you start using symbiotic
I don't know, past
in
like
a sentence?
6-7 years.
Nuh-uh. 4.
More than that.
Nuh-uh.
It's been more lately, but...
All right, so back to year 100.
I like my big words, okay? Shut up. That's really it. I like it. I like it. It's pretty solid.
Symbiote.
Oh my gosh. I like it. That's just really it. I like the length. It's not too long. Big deal. Colin, you sound like a 17-year-old girl right now.
Peener.
How do you know what a 17-year-old girl sounds like in that instant?
Well, I mean, because his girlfriend was one not terribly long ago. I did know that.
Abby!
Oh, my God.
What are you doing here?
What else have you been reading?
Spencer's suggestion, I read his favorite Doctor Strange comic book, The Oath.
Ooh, how'd you like it?
It was fine.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I haven't read much Doctor Strange.
I'm gonna go cry.
I don't know. But,
But hand wave emotions.
yeah, those were great. Some of the... Wait, let me check my notes here. The art was interesting. There were some bad faces / framing. I screenshotted a couple examples to you guys. And
Those
you were
were
like,
kind of funny. I hadn't realized those. That was kind of funny.
But there were a couple of really good mind-bending effects. That's, to be expected of a Doctor Strange mystical freaking world-bending...
Spook.
Yeah. For anybody who's not understanding the mind-bendiness, it's kind of like the first scene of the movie when the buildings are rolling over each other like dice. And it's like, what is going on? You
It's
don't
like
know.
that all the time.
It's just...
That's all of Doctor Strange books all the time.
Right. So that stuff was good. The story was kind of flat, I thought. It's like, all right, Wheel of Fortune, which enemy are we going to use today? Click, 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 click. Evil Pharmaceutical Corporation.
Fair.
It's very fair.
You're really fair.
Fair skinned, yes.
Colin, you are my fair maiden.
Have you seen My Fair
I
Lady?
am the fairest of them all.
What I really appreciated out of this book, there were 5 issues, I believe, and each one had the story so far in the arc, and each one was different.
I
and
love
it
that.
was like a frame of the story. So, like the end of book 3. A building is caught on fire and burning down. So you start issue 4, and it's a burning page from inside the building that catches you up on the story.
I think it's almost silly that they have those because it's a mini series.
Right?
But I do love those.
It was really well implemented. I really like that. So my last comment about it would be that I researched Night Nurse because she was one of like 3 main characters in this story. And everything that I clicked on had references to this book.
Yeah.
So this was like a pretty big book for Night Nurse.
Yes.
And actually probably one of the biggest stories for her until the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yes. That was honestly something I did really like how they adapted that character in those shows. And then part of me was like, please, I want this character to bridge the gap between the 2 worlds of the grounded heroes and the mystical stuff. Mm-hmm. I wanted that to happen so bad, and it didn't. I was really sad about that.
So I was a little confused by the very last page, spoilers, when Night Nurse and Doctor Strange kiss, because all of my research showed that she dates Hawkman for the most part. No, sorry, Hawkeye.
There you go.
For the most part. So, a little confused by that.
It depends on where in the timeline.
Was this story continued? Because he opens up his mansion to her medical practice?
Yes and no. It was, as far as I can remember, her operating out of the Sanctum had been a thing for like a while, and then this miniseries was not a prequel, like, necessary reading, but it was just like we're going to explain this thing, I think. I might be wrong.
Okay.
Again, I like Doctor Strange books a lot, but there aren't a whole lot of them, and some of them are hard to find. So my knowledge can be very limited. So you win what we've been reading.
I was trying to find it, but apparently Chrome ate it. I was reading the fan recommended web series. I don't really remember.
From Rebecca?
Yes, from Rebecca last week. And I'm trying to scroll my email really quick, and it's not here. The suggestion from Rebecca on Webtoons.
Yeah.
Frig, that took long to find. I read 2 or 3 issues, and again, like I said, Chrome ate it on me, and I forgot the rest of the week. But I was enjoying it and plan to go back to it this week.
Nice. I should probably get to that this week.
This is the first time I'm hearing of Webtoons. Apparently this is a thing,
Yep.
and I know nothing about it, so I kind of want to look around.
Boomer.
But also, there's 26 freaking issues of Outrage.
Yep.
So it's going to be a while until I can look around this website.
Nice. So is that all for this section?
I mean, there is more, but I can wait until next week.
Wait
When
till
I
next week,
have better words, because I
That's-
stopped wording.
That's not a bad idea.
Thank you.
So shall we news?
No, to the news.
Shall we news or shall we nude?
News.
All right, fine.
I will
Shall we
opt
do
for the
news,
first.
or shall we
We
do dudes?
We will news this week, but next week might be different.
Why don't we
Next
do
week might be
news in the
dudes.
nude? We
I
can-
love that idea.
3 nude dudes talking about the news.
3 nude news dudes.
3 nude dudes
gosh.
news.
Alrighty.
That's the new name of the podcast, by the way. Welcome to
No, that's our
3
that's our
Nude
spin-off
Dude
podcast.
News.
Where we go. That's our
3
spin-off
nude
podcast where
news dudes.
3 Nude Dude News.
That's going to be our first spin-off where we go over politics.
Oh, in the nude.
Yes.
Just like Frank Miller wanted.
Oh boy. So we have an article from comicbook.com, quote, "As uncertainty continues to riddle the box office and theme parks alike, the Walt Disney Company is implementing one of its largest ever internal restructurings, all in an effort to place more focus on the world of streaming video. The company said in a statement Monday afternoon it intends to combine all of its entertainment businesses into a single organization. Instead of acting as standalone businesses, the company's movie studios, sport content providers, entertainment group, and direct-to-consumer products, Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN, now reside under the same umbrella. In the same statement, Disney chief Bob Chapek announced Disney Publishing and Consumer Products head Kareem Daniel has been promoted to oversee the entire new media and entertainment group. Ultimately, all distribution, sales, and advertising of film and domestic television will fall under Daniel's purview. No changes have been made to the leadership with this restructuring, meaning Alan Horn and Alan Bergman still oversee the company's studios. Rebecca Campbell will continue to lead the charge on direct-to-consumer products, and Peter Rice will head the Mouse's general entertainment group, which includes both television studios and channels such as 20th Television, ABC Signature, all Disney channels, Freeform, and FX. Even though Daniel serves as the head of the new entertainment group, all of the aforementioned executives will report directly to Chapek. With the restructuring taking place immediately, Chapek says the company will continue its foray into streaming content, and these moves should be something that allows them to put more focus on Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+. Given the incredible success of Disney+ and our plans to accelerate our direct-to-consumer business, we are strategically positioning our company to more effectively support our growth strategy and increase shareholder value, Chapek said. Managing content creation distinct from distribution will allow us to be more effective and nimble in making the content consumers want most delivered in the way they prefer to consume it, end quote.
That was a lot of words. What does it all mean?
Apologies for the long article. I was as picky as I could be. They slightly restructured it so the individual companies, as their distributors of Disney+, ESPN+, Hulu, blah, 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 they all report directly to the head of Disney, basically, and the production end is different from the distribution end, so they can focus. And then something that kind of popped to my head is like, so say they want to make a thing. They make the thing under whatever writers, directors, and studios can physically produce it, and then they can decide afterwards whether they want to release it on Disney+, Hulu, theatrically, or if they want to put it on a channel or whatever. That's the kind of the vibe I was getting from it, was so they can disconnect the two parts So they have more options of an outlet for whatever they're making, because streaming, cinemas are pretty much dead. Let's be real here. 2 of the biggest companies are probably going to be closing forever. Cinema is on the way out. So them trying to focus a lot more on streaming.
So when do we get Bernthal back as Punisher and what's his name back as Daredevil?
Charlie Cox?
Yes.
So actually, something that wasn't really newsworthy, but if I remember correctly, the Luke Cage and Iron Fist sections of that universe did revert back to Marvel Studios semi-recently.
The worst one!
They're all within like a year of each other, if I remember correctly. One would assume if they are going to take advantage of those things, they're going to do it all in one initiative chunk, which means they kind of have to wait for all of it to be done. I'm sure if they have decided to plan anything, they've already planned it and they're just waiting to put things in production, or however they're going to go about it. This wasn't necessarily super comic book movie news related, but it was more of a general industry stuff, and because it's Disney, this does affect Marvel Comics as well.
Also, wait for it. Wait. Hail, Emperor Mickey!
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Also,
Disney, if you would like to purchase this podcast for any reason, for rights, streaming, or distribution, please do so. We are more than available for options.
Or
Also,
in reality, f*** off.
Fair enough.
Try it again, caller.
Oh, 3 nude news dudes.
Thank you.
Oh, wacky. I'm down.
We got a new TV spot for The Mandalorian Season 2.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't see it either.
There's more footage. There's more jetpack.
No, I figured, but like I saw it on my YouTube thing. I'm like, I probably shouldn't watch it.
It's coming out in like a week and a half, isn't it?
The 30th is when it starts, and as far as I can tell, they're going to be doing it weekly like they did the first season as well. I don't think they said how many episodes are in this season, but I'm assuming it's probably around 10. Because the first season was, 8 episodes?
I don't know.
I think it was 8.
You're asking me to remember everything
It's 8.
about stuff that I claim to know about? Come on.
Because the last 2 are like
it was 8.
Parter.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's more
Two-parter.
jetpack. Nothing terribly exciting. Just more footage.
Nice.
Am excited. So this is last piece of news. This is a bit of a big one. So from DCComics.com, quote, DC is starting 2021 off with a bang, giving fans a glimpse into futures both near and far, full of current and new characters, as the publisher announced today plans for the DC Future State, a 2-month line-wide event beginning in January. Through February 2021, the full title lineup will feature a combination of monthly and twice-monthly oversized anthologies, as well as a monthly schedule of miniseries and one-shots. DC Future State, spotlights the world's greatest superheroes in fresh new roles, with all new characters taking up their iconic mantles. DC Future State features an incredible array of creative talent, combining award-winning writers and artists with new voices from the worlds of TV, movies, and animation. In March 2021, the regular DC title lineup resumes, continuing existing storylines from 2020 and introducing new arcs for the year. In DC Future State, the multiverse has been saved from the brink of destruction, but the triumph of DC's heroes has shaken loose the very fabric of time and space. The final chapter of Dark Knight's Death Metal, on sale January 5, 2021, brings new life to DC's multiverse, kicking off this glimpse into the unwritten worlds of DC's future. The DC Universe has always been fertile ground for new and refreshing takes on our characters, and DC Future State definitively contributes to this legacy, said DC Executive Editor Marie Javins. When the event begins in January, some savvy readers will not only pick up on some of the breadcrumbs that have already been tossed out in our current titles, but they will also find new hints and clues of what's to come in 2021. End quote. This looks really cool.
I haven't read all the modern stuff yet. I actually just picked it up today. So don't give me any freaking spoilers.
There's
No spoilers.
There's very little that you can figure out. They put out like
Oh,
one.
so what are you implying with that?
They put out like one freaking image of like a lot of the hero lineup, so you can speculate on things. Like the fact that one of their Batman characters is using Wonder Woman logo shaped batarangs. All sorts of weird stuff.
What?
Yes.
Why are you excited about
It
that?
sounds like
It's the future in, say, indefinite period of time of various worlds of the DC multiverse. So after all of this...
Batman with Wonder Woman-shaped batarangs.
That's one specific detail I mentioned.
That's
Goodness.
weird.
It's all weird. It's new people. The person who is being Batman is currently being kept a mystery. There are some characters like Jonathan Kent is the Superman right now. Some characters have been kind of like run out of their roles. Like Superman has just kind of left Earth. He just got ran out. The Green Lanterns are doing all sorts of weird stuff. Swamp Thing is like God Emperor or whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I said, I went through more of the press release. They released the list of all the different issues, which ones are going to be anthologies, which ones are going to have a couple of issues, which ones are going to be like just two, whatever. It looks like they took a lot of the information they were planning on using for their 5G initiative, which was what they said they wanted to do after Rebirth as their next soft relaunch jumping on point thing. And a lot of the fan response to that when that was announced a while ago / leaked was not very receptive. So it looks like they reinterpreted some of those ideas and they're like, hey, we're going to do a lot of weird future multiverse stuff. And then in 2 months it's going to be over. And we're just resuming where we were. So it's just, hey, it's probably going to be one really cool omnibus. And then we can move on with our lives. And I think that's really cool.
I like omnibuses.
Omnibuses are nice.
Yeah, so it's a lot of different characters being interpreted as different people, lots of new characters, new heroes, new outfits. The art looks really cool from what I've seen. A lot of the talent that is involved is really, really cool. So I might actually buy these as they come out. Just mostly because there's only like 20 of them, and then I'll buy the omnibus anyway.
There's like 26, I think.
Something like that.
There's a reason that we are called Dime
26.
Comic Bros, alright? Try to pen to penny, you Freddy.
But like,
Say.
I haven't followed a comic line as it's come out in a while, so this might be something into really.
Superman.
I followed the entirety of the different Green Lantern runs in the New 52. That's actually what got me into collecting comics when I first started. Aside from watching Batman cartoons, was me buying those because I was 11 when it started.
You were gonna say I followed the Three Jokers line. Like, ooh, $3.
Shut up!
I haven't even done that.
So I'm looking at DCComics.com right now. At the lineup for DC's Future State.
Yeah.
And one of them is Superman versus Imperius Lex.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of Wonder Woman stuff, different stuff. There's like Justice League, the next Batman. So weird.
Yeah.
Cool.
Something I'm getting a little tired of is the multiverse stuff, which is funny because I haven't actually been reading all of the Dark Knight's Metal and all that sort of stuff, but it's to an extent. Multiverses can be tiring. There's a lot to keep track of. And sometimes it's like, but what if Batman was a little taller? Like, it's just minor differences. And this one's very different, it seems. It's like, no, just radically different characters, different people, different everything. And I think that's really cool.
How are you reading all this metal stuff if you don't own it?
I didn't say I was reading all of it. I've read a couple of issues and I've been following it. I've been following it. There's a difference.
The wiki.
Video breakdowns and wiki,
I
baby.
see through your lies.
Yep.
I've read some of it.
Okay.
I'm getting there. It's a matter of time.
No, it's alright. Like I said, I got it all this week, so I will share with you guys. That's the point of the show!
Sharing. So that's the end of the news. Unless anybody has some magical thing that they want to talk about that I didn't know about.
I gotta go pee-pee.
Those who go to bed with an itchy bum wake up with a stinky finger.
Okay,
So now we're talking about our main topic, which will be Batman, Curse of the White Knight.
Colin with the sexy intro.
Nice. So since last week, Colin and I tag teamed very poorly, giving a summary of White Knight. Why doesn't Jacob give a summary of Curse of the White Knight?
Because Jacob is an idiot and has no reading retention.
Ouch. But you're the one who takes physical notes.
Yeah, but I don't have physical notes of this book, so...
Okay.
I am gonna do an impromptu skim and summary for the fans.
Okay.
The Joker has escaped imprisonment and is teasing the Batman with a final, not killing joke this time, that alludes to a dark secret from Batman's past.
The joke that started it all. The joke that made him into the Joker.
Honestly, it sounds like Court of Owls with Joker.
That's a fair
It's like
point.
the Court of Owls without the Court of Owls and with Joker.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
I really enjoyed this book.
Oh, same.
I think you enjoyed this book way more than I did. But like, I really enjoyed it, especially when it started off with being in what, the 1700s or 1800s?
I think 1600s.
1600s. So it started off with Edward Wayne, correct? And then we go through the asylum, and now Jacob, what is next? It's Azrael covering his peener. This is where Murphy is not being freaky like how he was in Tokyo Ghost.
I don't remember the specifics of the super secret corporation that brings Azrael about, so if somebody could fill in that.
So,
That was actually, I think, the weakest part. Because I barely remember that, and I
It's
remember
just the
a lot of
Joker.
the detail stuff.
It's just the Joker.
It's basically just the Joker through a shell corporation. Kind of.
Yeah, but they bring Azrael into the mix, and he is sexy AF.
Wow. Jacob just admitted he finds another man sexy.
It's an
had
old man.
a little bit of a chub while reading
Oh.
Azrael's section here.
Oh.
He was drawn that well.
Wow.
Well, Sean Murphy is he kind of does have like the terminal horny.
I think he has less terminal horny than Bruce Timm.
Oh,
and
of course.
Maldini do.
You clearly
But-
haven't read Tokyo Ghost.
Oh, that's true.
Fair.
Tokyo Ghost is very
Fair.
like that.
It's beyond terminal horny. It's like straight up.
Okay, so the nitty gritty being basically that way back when Gotham and the surrounding area was founded, there were two intermingled legacies of the Waynes and what is the other name?
Wait.
Dumas. There we go.
Dumas.
Yeah. So
The Dumas.
yeah, Dumas and Waynes and the Arkhams are kind of intermingled in the past. Basically, one of Batman's ancestors.
Killed an Arkham who was a vampire.
That was really cool. Little
I
detail.
loved that.
I love that.
Was it Faye Arkham?
Something like that.
Something like that.
So this is a historic.
Lafayette.
There you go.
Lafayette.
Yeah. So this is a historical thriller. So one of Batman's ancestors Batman's not actually a Wayne, really, in reality.
Yeah,
The
that really
Wayne-
messed me up.
That I love that.
I thought it was really good though.
There was a lesson in treachery way back, and basically the Joker knows about it, and that is the joke written at the bottom of a well, or was it a cliff or a cave or something?
It's the bottom of a well inside of
the old
Arkham Mansion.
Right, and Joker at some point found it way back, and then that, like, the fact that he knew based on some notes and a blood-soaked wall, figured out that Batman and the man behind the mask of Batman isn't even really a Wayne.
So what happened?
That was the joke. Mm-hmm. I love that so much because
he said, "I am Edmund or Edward." Which one was it? Edward.
I think it's Edward.
It's I am Edward Wayne. Because they found two bodies, and one was obviously Lafayette, because they killed him and he fell down in the well.
Right.
And then there's another body, and they're trying to figure it out. But Bruce Wayne, Batman, assumed that it was
Dumas, just like everybody else.
Yeah, everybody else thought it was Dumas.
But
and thought that
no.
Wayne stole Gotham from Dumas when they were supposed to split it. But in reality, Dumas stole it from Wayne, and
then
Dumas took his name.
It's so cool because that is the attempt usually in a lot of Batman continuities to try to tie Joker into Batman's origin in some way. Mm-hmm. Is usually cringe.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's usually pretty bad. It tries to give Joker an origin and it ties it into the Waynes, and it's weird. Mm-hmm. This is great because it's indirect. It has to do with the Wayne lineage, not Batman himself. It's a product. It's like a byproduct.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so Batman goes through this whole crisis of, not knowing. He's like, I'm not a Wayne, and I'm not a good person. I'm not the good guy. It's like all he has now is he is Batman.
Right, and then he nearly goes off the deep end.
Because
like,
he's not
for
even
real.
Because Azrael's taking over, like, being Batman.
Basically. Because he's actually from the real lineage of being a Wayne. So it's going over the knight concept quite literally.
Yep.
But in the modern day, and it's really, really cool. I like it a lot.
Sorry, we keep
like
cutting Jacob off. I can tell he wants to say something.
I like the dual lineage thing.
He likes the dyad!
I do like dyads.
There's always a dyad. Jacob?
Aren't those the horny tree spirits?
No.
Those are dryads.
Dryads.
Let's try to keep it away from the horny.
But dryads, though.
Well, Harley Quinn is in this book, so we can't get away from
I
that.
love
Shut up, Colin. We're going to get to that. Let Jacob
That's what
speak.
I was about to go into, is I really like the tender moments between Batman and Harley Quinn.
Same.
Yeah, they weren't horny, and I liked it. It was like wholesome.
Yeah.
It's like he's like, oh, you have babies coming? I will be dad.
That's a really weird way to phrase it, but yeah,
Pretty
Batman
much.
delivers the Joker's baby.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
But also, he was taking care of Harley before they popped out.
Right. I really like their dynamic in this because, like I mentioned last week, even without having read this book, I thought that there was a little hint of chemistry previously, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because of their strange connection throughout history. And then this book's like, they're a couple now. And
I don't think they're officially Facebook official.
No,
official.
they're not official,
so.
but they're like, we are significant others.
Yeah,
That's what they're.
they kind of moved
They
in.
did the do.
They're living together for 2 weeks.
Did they do the do?
I think they did. I'm
not.
pretty sure. I thought they did
No.
the do.
No, that
No.
was Nightwing and her in that awful cartoon.
That
We're
was
not talking
bad
about
sex
that.
and killing joke.
Oh gosh, can we stop talking about those two things?
So, I really liked that Batman says you can get the Jack Napier out of Joker by going
with your babies.
with me to talk to him, and it doesn't work because Batman's there and Joker's horny for Batman. So later, when the kids have popped out of Harley, she goes alone, and Jack Napier pops out of Joker. I'm trying to make that sound sexual. Is
She
that
has
working?
no like baby bump after they're born. It's like boom, she's back to normal. That always bothers me.
A little bit, yeah.
That always
But
bothers me.
also, she literally got back up and kept fighting after she had like a bunch of broken ribs and like half broken spine. So it's a comic book. It's silly. Get over it.
That's true, but they could have like made some chub, I guess. I don't know. It just bothers
Do
me.
you want slight chub Harley Quinn? I don't think you do.
He
It's
wants
fine. It's
slight
human.
chub.
Okay.
Okay.
Another
Only
thing
good chub,
that I really
baby.
liked was Azrael's fight with Bane.
Yes. He just decapitates.
I love
It's
that.
so gory and gross, and I love
I
it.
love decapitation.
I think that's the thing about Murphy's art and writing is they can get a bit edgelord and very bloody
hold
like
on.
out of the blue, but it doesn't feel like it's just trying to do it for shock factor.
Who is this child he just murked in the asylum?
That is a good question.
That's like
It's the kid that magically floats in Dark Knight Returns.
those are
Jacob,
robots.
Jacob is correct.
Those are robots, aren't they?
Not necessarily.
What are they?
I don't remember all the details, and in some
It's
continuities,
Frank-
I mean, I
doing
figured it
drugs.
was.
just assume it's a different continuity and they're magic babies or something.
Okay.
I never understood that part.
And of
about
course,
the
he
book.
would have his ventriloquist even though he's in an asylum.
Yes.
But like whatever.
It's Arkham. They
It's
do dumb
fine.
things in Arkham.
It's true. They let.
Who's Sutton? I don't know who that is.
Huh?
Sutton. S-U-T-T-O-N.
That's Poison Ivy, I think.
What? No,
It's a redhead.
That's Pamela Isley.
Pamela.
I don't know.
I love
Oh, is
how
that the
many
rocket
swords
chick?
there are in this.
Is that the
book.
rocket chick? Remember in Batman Animated Series where there was the rocket chick?
Maybe. I don't
You
know.
remember that?
Google it.
We don't need to go through the nitty gritty details while people can't
you guys
watch
keep
what
talking.
we're flicking through.
You guys keep
I
talking.
love the flaming sword.
I love how many swords there are in this. The swords look so good.
Yeah.
Swords and also guns.
Oh, Alfred in this.
Joker's gun is so good.
Yes.
Alfred just being.
I remember when I said last week that I wasn't a huge fan of Joker's outfit. I like it more in this book. I still don't. It's not my favorite thing, but I think it works better in this narrative. Don't know exactly why. Also, Harley Quinn shoots the Joker in the fucking head.
In the face. I sat and stared at that for a long time.
Roxy Rocket. Never mind.
Sounds like a porno.
You're not wrong.
I mean, it is Bruce Timm.
Anyways, yeah, no, I this book is. I like how much red there is, but it never feels like it's overly saturated and just like grossly red filtered. There's a lot of red and oranges. Can we talk about the fact that Jim Gordon got killed in this? Because Alfred died in the last book. Now Jim Gordon's dead. This is going crazy places.
Barbara seemed kind of bitchy about it. Like, I get it, her dad died, but she went, like, off the rails against Batman on that one.
That's kind of a Barbara thing, though.
That is true. She is, out of all of, ironically, even more so than Red Hood, out of all of the Bat children, she is the one who would give him the middle finger and just do whatever the hell she wants. Because the rest of them are his little boys, even though one of them's an edgelord. And one of them is literally his own son.
He's an edgelord that wants to be noticed by Daddy.
Yes. And then the other one is literally his own son. And then the other two are pretty normal.
But she's Oracle. Like,
right.
That's not very...
She wasn't even Oracle for that long. She really is mostly Batgirl.
Yeah.
'Cause most of the released stuff is...
It's mostly Batgirl. She was Oracle for like 10 years.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was a pretty long time. I mean, you're probably also thinking about Arkham Asylum and like the Arkham series.
I was.
Yeah. That's how... I liked that interpretation of her.
Yeah, it's alright.
I did think it was weird that she married Bruce. Not Bruce, she married Tim.
That was weird. I will admit, that was very strange.
Because Tim also looks weird in that. He looks like Eminem.
Anyways, we're not talking about Arkham Knight.
Do you want to talk about the final frame?
We should probably talk about the fact that...
definitely.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that.
Do the setup.
Okay, so... you have the book in front of you. You do the setup. Fine.
I'll do it.
Fine, give me the book.
I passed the book on to...
It's a bit of an epilogue.
Spencer.
Basically, Bruce Wayne goes to jail / prison, whatever, because he is exposed as Batman, and he's done lots of horrible things, and he's willing to pay for it. And he convinces Harley Quinn to just let him actually pay for his crimes.
Because she was ready to drive him away.
Yeah, this is also a setup for the third book, because the third one is supposed to be after he gets out of prison or jail or whatever. And however long that is, this is supposed to be the Beyond the White Knight. Whenever it actually comes out, it's supposed to be the world has advanced in such crazy ways because all the Batman technology is available to the world now. So this is kind of an epilogue, I would say. He's just chilling, and he gets a visitor.
He's chilling in his cell.
He's just chilling in Orange, and then they're like, "Hey, there's a visitor," and it's Jason Todd.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a visitor. What it was is they needed someone to watch him because he would escape.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is true. And it's freaking crazy because I remember Jacob said when we talked about White Knight. It was like, I wish they had gone over this whole Robin dying stuff more, and I think they're going to now.
Yeah, because he didn't even die. He just didn't come back.
Right.
Which, that broke my heart. When I don't know if I said that last.
You did.
Okay,
Very much. You did it a lot. You said it like 50 times.
Okay, that really struck a chord for me, and I don't know why, but like it was just that I think I love.
This kid got so screwed up that he just decided to leave.
Yeah, like I don't think that's been done before.
Nope.
Where Robin just leaves. He doesn't try to make amends or get angry with Batman. He just leaves.
Robin has left various times,
but for telling him, "I'm leaving."
Yeah, he just storms.
Doesn't go home. He just doesn't go home. Where did he go?
Yeah. Obviously, he went and became a professional military man. That's expected. I really, really like the second to last shot where in the shadow of the two of them, you can see Batman and Robin in their shadow. I freaking love that. I didn't
notice that.
I caught it.
I stopped and stared at that. That gave me the feels. Not seeing him, seeing that shadow, because then I immediately knew who it was, and I got it. Oof.
I love how Bruce Wayne's shadow is always just Batman.
It's always Batman. He always looks like Batman in his shadow.
So I don't know if it's because it's a special edition or if this was part of the regular release, but there is a Von Freeze special issue.
It is just a one-shot. They are making more one-shots, which will be attached to either collected in a separate book or will be added on to the other books when they come out.
Well, would you like to talk about Von Freeze?
I would, because it is part of this graphic novel collected edition.
Do you want to look through it still? for Von Freeze?
No, knock yourself up.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so there is a little one-shot, which was written by Sean Murphy and then drawn by, what's his name? It's his inker, I believe, that had been working with him. Colin, please pull it up so I don't look like a total dumbass.
Don't worry, I got it. Chill. Just give us one moment, people. Artist is Klaus Janssen.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, Klaus Janssen.
Which that is...
Oh, it's right.
That's his inker, or no, that's his colorist.
Yeah.
That's it. There we go. It's the colorist that has been working with him. I think outside of these two graphic novels as well. He wanted to write a story for Victor Fries because he was also in the last book as a relevant character, and Klaus Janssen has German ancestry. In case you can't tell by the name.
No.
Yeah. So they wanted to approach partially a Holocaust story as well as, just Dr. Freeze. And then I really enjoyed the way that they tied it into the Wayne family of being like, yeah, he was one of their friends, as it's noted in the original White Knight graphic novel. You know, he helped deliver their son. They were family friends before. Mm-hmm. It's just a nice little... a little bit of a warm feeling, sort of one-off.
Warm feeling, get it? Because it's freeze.
It wasn't cold, it was warm. Anyways, it was nice. Nothing terribly spectacular, but it was a nice little addition that slips between... I think there's a note in there somewhere that says exactly where it falls in the timeline. It was like a
6 and 7 or
Yeah,
5 and
I'm
6.
sorry,
Something
he's
like
an amazing colorist, but his art's just
It's fine.
lacking.
I think his faces are a little rough. The
A little.
Some of them are pretty solid, but I think it was just
Harley looks so old.
Our snooty artist in the room.
Yeah, the Harley was a bit rough.
That was my balls dropping.
Those are so heavy.
They're filled with pee.
Gross. Yes, because pee is stored in the balls. We all know this, Spencer.
Yes. Anyway, it's just a nice little one-off that's at the end of the book, and I believe the next one is going to be the Harley Quinn book, which, if I'm remembering correctly, will be getting written by his wife.
Yep.
And he will be doing the art.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Is that all we got on Curse of the White Knight? by
Yeah.
you
Sean
went
Murphy?
over stuff, but you didn't state your general thoughts. How much did you like this book? Because you were like, I like White Knight by the time it's done, but some parts I wasn't a huge fan of, and the beginning was a little rough. Give a summary of your thoughts, Mr. I'm not very clear about things.
I would call this a 4.6 out of 5.
Wow.
I got a little lost in the history, the 3-card Monty swapping. The artwork was really, really good. The rest of the story was really, really good. Azrael is one serious badass.
Yes.
It was interesting that they had him as a Catholic crusader.
I do like those sorts of things.
I
was-
love that.
A little bit of irony that I could enjoy.
4.6. Those are high marks. I don't put numbers on things anymore, but I disagree with your number.
Really? What would you give it?
Oh, like a 4.2?
Whoa, we are a whole 0.4 off. I hate you! I never liked doing this show in the first place!
I can't, you could round yours up almost to 5 stars. I can't give it 5.
I love how you just gloss over him. Just yelling, oh, I just like this.
I don't know, maybe it's just retrospective gloss.
Fair.
I did read it a whole week ago, so...
Wow, so long
There's
ago.
been so many books in between, so many sleeps, you know.
I liked this
I am
book.
getting old.
You
And
are.
the Alzheimer's setting in, so...
Youch. So, Colin,
Who are you?
general thoughts.
I am the man,
No,
the
you're not.
Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man!
The Muffin Man!
I understand this reference.
Okay, so the art makes me feel lonely. It might
That's
be
a very strange feeling.
It might be the colors. They're very warm, but they are also not welcoming.
That is fair. I kind of got that vibe.
It's not welcoming in the slightest, but it's good. I love the art.
I think
But
that
it's
has
just-
to do with Spencer saying that he uses a lot of reds.
Yeah, it's not like...
I
Maybe
understand.
it's not.
I think
it doesn't
it's
feel...
the hues of colors.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it's
doesn't
not,
feel like dry and arid or like a desert. It feels like it's hot.
Yes, and then there's moments where even when it's cold, it's still like hot or lukewarm, whatever. But it's like
White Knight had a lot of very cold moments in it. It still had a fair bit.
It had a lot of white in it.
Also true.
And not because of the title, but it was just... There was a lot of white in it.
Yeah, it had a lot of.
nitpick. I don't like where that hand is.
I don't
in the
like where the
shadow.
hand is in
'Cause
this one panel.
Whose hands? Who positions their body? I don't know. Sorry, it's just I don't like the position how they position Batman's shadow.
We're looking for final thoughts on the whole book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
we're not
I'm
How
sorry.
would you rate this book out of 5? With a decimal point, at least 1, if not 2.
Compared to the first one,
See, that's not fair because I personally
Okay.
strongly dislike the first one.
Okay. I'm gonna look at it as this book, just this book. It's definitely like a 4.3, 4.3. I'd have to
He's
get.
in the middle.
I'd have
No, he's
to.
not.
It's closer to my number.
Fine, I'll round mine down to 4.5. Okay,
Okay.
is everybody happy?
No.
No,
I'm never
keep it
happy.
to
Yeah,
what
I
you
knew
want
that.
it to be. But like,
We're never doing numbers again.
So I do have to round it down though because I took it off my wish list because I have read it. I'm not gonna be.
Are
It's
you-
not. It's
that's
not
a-
gonna be one of those
Are you
ones
gonna
that I'm
reread
gonna
it?
reread over and over again. It's gonna be like several years from now. I'll be like, oh, I like that one. I'll go back to it, but I'm not reading it next year.
That fair enough.
I might read in a couple days.
That's the thing is I like it less, but I will reread it more. That is very.
I think I like the art more in this.
Really.
I just haven't. I'm just like
I think because the setting is so different, it's kind of hard to compare the two.
it's.
There's some
yeah.
characters in common, but a lot of the context is different.
And it just goes in different ways of story. Like I know the first one's political.
We go from a political thriller with riots and protests and signs to now swords and swords and swords.
Well, it's still
That's why I liked it.
It's
Yes.
still in the same vein because it goes
Yes.
political to historical, which can both go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Obviously.
but I don't know. I'm stuck on
So-
just the feeling of loneliness in this, which
Colin's
is
going
good.
into a depressive spiral. We're taking the book away from him.
Stop. Let me fucking
Taking
finish.
his
So,
book away from him.
so
Yes.
I think the feeling of loneliness fits. I don't know if it's just me, but it fits with how Batman is because throughout this whole thing, he feels like he's being separated from everyone. Like everyone's almost against him, or they're on the verge of being against him, and
Which carries over from the last book.
which carries over from the last book. But it feels more so in this because he's losing his identity, he's losing friends, he's losing himself morally.
Which just adds to the comfort with the scenes between him and Harley.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Oh, I do like Etrigan. It's just, I think it's funny that whenever they introduce Etrigan, it's always the same thing. It's always like, oh, who is this character? He walks in front of a mirror. Oh, it's Etrigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew who it was. I do like that he is a historian of the cult, the Catholic cult that.
He was a Catholic vampire.
Haha.
Yes, but it's
I
good.
want to suck your wine.
I'm going to rewatch it. I mean, reread it. Sorry.
I
I'm
really want to
tired.
take that joke and make it so bad.
Shut up.
So let's wrap this up.
Yep.
We all liked it.
We are all very much so looking forward to the next big one because it'll be Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk Batman
Wait.
is fun. We literally explained this
Okay,
multiple weeks in a row.
that's probably
Colin.
why I realized this. That's probably why I love Cyberpunk. Is because of Batman Beyond. It's cyberpunk.
Yes.
That's probably why.
All right. Any housekeeping?
Nope.
Housekeeping!
Nope. I got nothing.
Views have gone down. That's exciting.
Yes.
Has anybody
Slightly.
hit the Patreon up?
No. So I think that's all I have to do is plug the things, and then
Have
I have to draw the
we
arts.
got any hate mail?
we have no mail.
Have we made stickers for the $1 Patreon yet?
Not yet.
That is on the agenda to do.
Listen, listeners, we got our shit together, all right?
We're getting there.
Plug the socials.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can send us an email at dimecomicbros@gmail.com. Visit our website at dimecomicbros.podbean.com. Come check out our Patreon. As Jacob mentioned, we're getting stickers for all of our patrons as soon as you hit the $1 level, which is the lowest tier.
I want my stickers!
Also, Jacob just wants a sticker, of which I also want a sticker. So we're getting on that. There's also lots of other fun things like voting on topics, polls, and all sorts of fun things. So go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros.
Not to mention a phone call with 3 nude news dudes.
Fair enough. If that does happen, the below the belt will be covered for such dudes because
Maybe.
that would be very
Except
sketchy.
for Colin, who doesn't shave his pubes.
Okay. Wow, that just came out.
You left me speechless. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that.
Surprise chocolate starfish.
What was that, little teapot? Short and stout.
Says the actual short
Here
one.
is my handle. Here is my spout. That's you.
Calling the kettle black now, aren't we?
Hey.
Racist.
All right. Before I cut the recording, you guys need to sing.
Oh yeah.
Along with me.
I was hoping for more than that.
No, that's perfect.
I like we just
God.
stared into each other so like, are we gonna keep going? He's like, no.
Do the thing.
Dude, what thing?
Do the thing. Do the whole thing.
Do the thing?
I don't think I know. Wait, come along with me to the butterflies and bees.
He's just going
Make
derpy
it
now.
to the forest and do so as we please. I don't know.
Did you say naked through the forest?
I think so.
Oh.
Oh my word. I know it's time to go to bed when Colin takes his clothes off. Crawls over me and gets in his own bed. Yeah, and then I put on 18 more layers and turn into Ned Flanders.
It kind of depends on what I'm drinking, but most of the time I get kind of grouchy.
Really?
Not actively mean, like, what are you doing sitting there? Just, like, more likely to tell you to f*** off.
Wow.
I was
You're an
holding that in
angry
a lot.
drunk?
Not in the typical way, though. I'm not going to fight you.
Uh-huh.
It's just the thoughts.
Leave me alone with my gin!
It's just the thoughts that I filter out and put a nicer spin on.
Huh.
You know?
Okay.
I feel. I mean, no, you can't use it. I'm not saying you can, but just don't take it around with the recorder. Just chop
Just
it
literally
off.
chop it.
Okay, but like...
So you
But
know-
you just talked about how I accidentally had stuff in there. Left in.
Yeah, when it was a transition.
Oh, yeah. No, it
Transition.
wasn't like it was
Just
bad.
chop it off the front. Just circumcise the out of this podcast.
The End of Evangelion, the movie called The End of Evangelion, which isn't the end, because there's 3 rebuilds.
Oof.
They're called rebuilds, but no one knows if it's a sequel. Hold on.
Colin
Also-
has to take his boy panties out of the dryer.
So I was going to
Are
ask
they the
you-
lacy ones?
No. Okay.
Also, you're drinking from my glass. I tried telling you, but you still put your lips all over it.
Ooh, cooties.
What? No, that's your glass.
I reached it around the computer, and he was like, "Ah!" And you moved it there. That one's yours.
No, because I was the one that was on the... No. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I don't.
You
I'll
are
get you
now
in the cup.
impregnated with Jacob's seed.
You
Are we
want
having a son?
No,
girl.
that's me.
Oh, that means you would have had to be on top.
You're right! Okay, I'm sorry.
Are we done
Oh, I just realized there's more Evangelion. So.
Shut up!
I have to talk!
No! You've been talking for like 10 minutes!
Hey, this is how you are with the freaking Snyder Cult. So
This is true.
Yeah, and then I shut
can
up
actually-
because we're
I can
giving me
actually
my
say
own
this in-
episode.
I can say this in a couple sentences. So are these
I'd say-
both mine then?
no, I was drinking that one.
You were drinking this.
I mean, since our discussion, I was just like, "Frig it, I'll be impregnated by Colin."
Oh, okay. So
Cheers.
Dude, I just freaking coughed up Tonsilstones.
what?
I was just calling Colin a
so
pedo.
bad.
Don't worry about it.
What?
I was referencing the fact
That's getting
that
cut out.
That's getting cut out so hard. All of that was getting cut out anyway.
Nope.
Oh, I thought we were gonna keep the symbiotic.
No, yes, that.
I'll cut it when I call for Abby.
Yes, Abby. Just.
Oh gosh. Freaking Doomsday Clock is already $12 off on Amazon. It just came out.
Right?
And the trade's already $12 off. That's nuts. Are we recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Okay.
Conceptual Corinthian condoms.
What?
Pop art Philippine paparazzi. Those are the shows that Colin was watching.
Oh.
What? Okay, hold on. You hold this. I can't see it.
Matt Leviticus Revengeance.